Hopefully the spring showers this week will bring beautiful May flowers. And we've got Dan Miners from Studio Dan Miners here this morning with a little Flower 101. Okay, so my friend, what are some hot flowers I need to keep my eye out for this year?
I nonstop hear from my brides and all my clients, peonies are still like the rage right now, and this is a perfect season right now for your peonies. And
that's a huge flower too, the peony.
Yeah, well, they're big and they also have a great smell to them. So I love peonies.
Yeah, everything smells great up here too.
And then also your ranunculus are just killer. I mean, right now they're coming from Holland, or the ones we're bringing in. I tore that one up. But they really last quite a while. They last a week.
A ranunculus?
It's a ranunculus.
Okay.
So it's a little tricky, but it looks like paper and it just opens up. It just has that beautiful, soft mother look.
I like it. Now, what should people look for in terms of when they are purchasing fresh flowers or when they're looking for fresh flowers? What's the key?
Depends on the flower, but you know, I always like to make sure that they're kind of tight. Like I brought the flowers that are really open for us today, so they look really showy. But I would really go for roses. You want to make sure they have kind of a hard center, but you don't want it to look like they're not going to open. And really look for transparency in flowers. When the transparency shows up, that means they're already dying.
Okay.
Or they're never going to open. Or especially things like irises and
they're
stuff.
Defunct. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Well, why don't you start working? I'll put you to work, and I'll keep asking you questions. But why don't you put together a fab bouquet today?
Yeah, this is just a quick European twist bouquet. People are always scared of doing flowers. I've already stripped all the greenery off this, so. And I also like to do clumps of flowers. You see in that one, so it kind of gives you more of an impact.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
And that's truly just a European twist bouquet that we kind of slap together, and then we just chop the bottom, and it's ready to go.
Now, you were telling me earlier, what are some tips or techniques for keeping your flowers once you put them in the vase? You
know, most of the time, I'm not good at this myself, but I mean, you really should change your water. Probably once a day is what they say. I really just change. I just put a little bleach in my water, so I just put 1 or 2 drops of bleach, and it seems to work for me.
What is this I hear about? Sometimes people put aspirin, a thing of aspirin. Does that work?
I've never heard that.
It's an old wives' tale, I think. But anyway.
No, but it might work. That sounds great.
Okay, so you're putting all of your bouquet together. Now, for picking the perfect vase or the perfect vase size, how do you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at something like this, I mean, you know, it's not a huge bouquet, but it would work something like in a vase like this right here, just because you look for the mouth opening, and you also want to make sure that you have enough water for these flowers. And then all you have to do, I mean, this is as simple as it gets. Just watch your length from here to here, because you don't want to go too high, and I don't want the flowers to fall apart and start looking all floppy and nasty. And this doesn't have to be a fancy flowers like what I'm kind of showing you today. This can be truly just bouquets that you buy.
What did you, look at that, it's so gorgeous. Now, what did you just use to trim?
That's just a little floral clipper.
Okay.
But you can don't use scissors. Scissors really have a tendency to cut your stems and flatten them and crunch them.
Do not use scissors, people. The more you know. There you go.
I will in a bind, but you know, it just pinches it, and you really do want a 45-degree angle if you can get it. Now, when you start doing something like one of these bouquets, it's really difficult to do that because you have to cut each one, and flowers can seal in 2 to 3 seconds. So you really don't want to sit there and go clump, clump, clump on something like this. You just want to cut it and get it in.
Now, where are most flowers grown, most flowers that people buy?
Well, I mean, right now, our big thing is we're selling at the studio is we want everything from Holland. We're getting all these specialty things like some of these hydrangeas you just can't get, and Holland just knows what they're doing. They really pack everything correctly, so Holland, then all your roses are South American. Your tulips are still from Holland, and then all your orchids and stuff mainly come from Hawaii and Thailand. And
you have got to be gearing up for Mother's Day. And speaking of just in time for Mother's Day, you can win flowers for a whole year from Studio Dan Miners. And to go with these flowers, we have a ladies' diamond watch from Mazary's Jewelry. Just go to kclive.tv/contest to tell us why your mom is the greatest mom. Our World's Greatest Mom contest is open right now through May 11th. And get your flowers from Studio Dan Miners. Gorgeous stuff, my friend. Looks great, you bet.
Good to see you.
A little later in the show, Chef Aaron Sanchez will cook us a yummy fish dish perfect for spring. Yes, he will. He's also going to share his recipe with you so you can try that at home. Stay with us for that.